Morning, guys. This is Roxy and Minnie, and they'd like to welcome you to Chateau de Muff. I'm Bob, the Green Man, and today we're going to talk about bananas. We're getting close here to a harvest. This is ice cream banana. We're getting close. We're going to talk about planting, watering, mulching, care, and fertilizing. We're going to talk about all that stuff today. So we've got bananas in different varieties and different stages. Okay, so this is ice cream banana, and this guy right here, that guy is the tallest of them all. He's at about, well, that house is probably 3 of me. I'm 6 feet, so I'd say about 20 feet tall. I mean, he's reaching way up there. My 6 foot comes to here. Okay. And then you double that. Let's say 15 to 18 feet. Anyway, this bunch was planted in June of 2023, and that's where the mother was planted, right there. It grew very well over the winter. This is what happens in the winter. This is from frost. Okay, that'll happen every year. Don't worry about it. Here in Arizona, I'm zone 10A in East Mesa. We get in the 30s. I don't cover this. I did cover it this year, and that's because this flower came out in January. Okay, and I covered it because I wanted to make sure it was going to stay warm and produce these bananas. At the moment, we have 3 racks. There's one there. There's one here. This is the newest one. And then there's one back here. And this one gets shaded nicely by his friends. Let's talk about... we'll talk about the bananas a bit more. Let's talk about watering. What do I do to water? Okay, I'm in Arizona. This is an east-facing wall. These now get sun all day, as tall as they are. But when they were this size, by the way, that's an ice cream banana as well. When they were that size, they only get sun till about noonish, maybe 1 o'clock. And there is quite a bit of mulch here. So I got grass clippings and mulch, and there's our dirt way down in there. Beautiful black soil, alive. We got worms saying, hey, cover me back up. Sorry, buddy. Okay. When I first plant anything, I water it every day if it's planted in the summer. When I plant in the winter, I change that up a bit. I'll do every 2 days or so. But then this gets watered. Now it gets watered once a week. When it gets hot here, and by hot, I mean 110 plus, it'll get watered twice a week. I was doing it twice a week, and I'll show you some others that get twice a week because they get sun all day. But I stick my hand down in the middle, and it is moist, so I let it go for a week. Like I said, there's a lot of mulch there. How much water do I put on? Honestly, it varies. I'd probably say these plants hold a lot of water. I'd say they probably get in the neighborhood of 15 to 20 gallons per watering. And I let the ground soak, let this whole area soak. And when it starts to run out on the sides here, that's when we say enough. And I even water the leaves too. Watering the leaves is healthy for the tree. Again, I've said this before in the past. It's not a tomato or a gourd of some sort where you don't want to water the leaves. It can drink through the leaves as well, especially the under parts of the leaves. Let's talk about feeding. Bananas are heavy feeders. So when I mow my lawn, grass clippings right out here. Don't let anybody tell you that, oh, well, if you mowed it and there's seeds in there, you're gonna have grass growing there. That's a load of bull. But even if you did, you know what this grass does? By allowing it to grow in there, it increases the humidity. It also creates nitrogen for the plants. This is Bermuda, by the way. It grows like a weed. I could pull it out. I mean, in some spots where, like by our door here, it doesn't need to grow, you know, but up against by these flowers, by the bananas, why not? Increases humidity, add some nitrogen a little bit to the ground. Speaking of nitrogen, this black stuff that you see here, this is composted chicken manure, and I give that about once every 2 months. 3 times a year in Arizona, we fertilize, and I use here, let's go find it. So this is what I use. This is Arizona's Best Fruit and Nut Tree 1373. The reason I use this for my tropicals and that is because we have iron, manganese, and zinc, which are good for, and there's also a little bit of sulfur in there too. This is good for alkaline soils. My soil's not too alkaline. Without adding any amendments, we're right at about 7, maybe 6, 9 here in Mesa. So we have a good soil composition. Other places, like in Phoenix, they're at an 8 or 8.4, so they're having to use quite a bit of applications of chelated iron and chelated manganese so that the plants can uptake the nutrients. A good analogy that I've heard is if you plant something in a 8.4 and don't add any amendments, the tree trying to drink water and take up nutrients is kind of like you laying on the ground and having somebody sit on your chest and you trying to take a breath. You can kind of do it, but you can't do it to your full potential. Let's talk about pruning. I, as you can see, don't prune. I used to, but I stopped because these leaves are here for a reason. A, they create photosynthesis from the sun, and B, they help shade. I mean, if I were to prune this guy is shading these bananas so they don't burn up. Now, in Arizona, when it's hot, 110 plus, these bananas can burn up in an instant. But as you can see, the trees know to shade them. So these are out in the open a bit, but now if we look back to the east, we've got a bunch of branches or leaves shading the trees. Okay, so pruning, normally I would prune this off, but this tree here is flowering and fruiting, so I'm going to leave it on. In fact, we got a little branch over here or a little leaf that should probably be pruned off right here. And you would just you can pull it off, or you just take a clipper and cut it off. So if we're gonna take this leaf off right here, you take a knife and you cut up, right up like that. You don't want to try and hit this guy. I suppose you can cut down. I never have. I've always cut up. And then you take this and you chop it up and you throw it in the middle to add to your mulch. Let's talk about flowering and fruiting. From planting to fruiting, it was about planting to flowering, it was about 13 months. Okay? And this is why I created this YouTube channel, to share knowledge. And hopefully someone out there is growing bananas and they won't make the same mistake I did. So, mother got up, and she got up probably about this tall. And I knew the flag leaf was coming, okay? Because if you look at right here on this example, look at this leaf. Look at the next one up, how much shorter it is, this one here. And then this one is real tiny. And then this one came out. This is a flag leaf, and attached to the flag leaf is your flower, which is down here. So we had a flag leaf. And all of a sudden, I noticed something like this. And I was like, what in the world happened? Well, I talked to a local nursery owner, and he told me it could be one of two things. One, did you fertilize? And this was in July. And I go, yeah, I fertilized. I gave it fish emulsion. He goes, no. He goes, did you give it liquid fertilizer? And I go, no. I like the stuff that they create, non-organic. And I said, no. That could be a reason. Two, sometimes it just happens, and as luck of the draw, it happened to me. So what happened was the flower almost got out, and for whatever reason, the plant said, hey, I fruited, and died back. So we cut her down. Everything else took off. And all right, so we've got ice cream here. This is another ice cream banana. This was planted a couple months ago, maybe 3 months ago. And this is what happens when you get a little sun scorch, okay? When I did plant this bunch, we'll walk back here and show you another banana. When I planted that bunch, it was in the summer here in Arizona. So it was in the shade. And for those of you wondering, this is a Rollinia. It's a wild sugar apple. We'll do a video on that in the future. It was in the shade, and the nursery owner told me, since it's in the shade here, you should shade it at your house. So I shaded it for 6 months. In September, mid to late September, I took the shade off, and it's been fine ever since. Why don't I have shade on this? Because they don't really need it if you keep them watered. I bought this in March, early March, and it gets sun all day, pretty much from about 9 a.m. till right now 6 p.m. This is my house, south facing. Here's east, there's west. You get sun all day. I did a video on, it might have been a short, I don't remember, but how to tell if your bananas are healthy. I did that video on, I believe it was Monday or Tuesday of this past week. And here's our pup. He's already putting out a third leaf right there. So the bananas don't necessarily need full or shade. They can take full sun if you keep them watered. This guy right now gets watered twice a week. It's a deep water, as I do with everything. I'll show you a couple more varieties here. This is a double mahoi, and this little cage here is gonna go away soon. I just had it because it was pretty small. This was a starter banana that was real small, and I overwintered it last winter, and it's starting to get some girth to the trunk. Any girls looking for geckos? Watch out, man. Over here, this is a Gros Michel, and if you were around eating fruit from the grocery store until I think like the early to mid 80s, maybe even later than that, these are bananas that you got. These were the ones that were grown commercially, and I think they had a disease or something like that that wiped them out, and they changed to the Grand Nain, which is the new commercial banana. But this guy, same thing, and he's already got a pup. Look at that. He's already got a pup there. So here's the pup. You can see him. That's so cool. This was overwinter as well. I don't know if you can hear it, but it is raining a little bit here. Which is very good, as we all know, for our plants. All right, I have one more variety that's back here in the pool area, hanging out with this jamun, a mame sapote, starfruit, loquat, this gigantic nectarine. Here we have a dwarf cavendish. Now, this particular tree, this is a pup. The original, right here, this is the pup. And here's another one. And I think I actually see another back there. Right there. Here's a new pup. The original, I don't even know if it's still there anymore. The original was right here in this area. These are the most cold susceptible. So that died back in the winter. But the pup stayed alive, this guy, and he's doing great. Like I said, pushed off 2 pups already. Really excited about this variety. What can I say? What more can I say about bananas? I suppose the main thing is water them. Don't be afraid to water your trees, bushes, vines, plants, whatever it is you have. Don't be afraid to water. Okay? Life and death with water. If you don't water enough, say your stone fruit here, this is a peach. If you don't water enough, you're gonna get gummosis. The tree's gonna develop a disease. A well cared for tree, watered, fed, mulched, is not going to get diseases. It's the trees that aren't taken care of that will get them. Think about yourself. If you don't drink water, if you don't eat healthy, if you don't wear clothes that block the sun, you're going to have issues. You don't drink water, your skin is you're going to have dry skin, itchy skin, your lips will crack, you'll just feel fatigued. If you eat garbage food, maybe your stomach's going to be upset constantly. There's that papaya we did in an earlier video, getting his first watering in the ground. It's just the same with plants, Water is the best thing you can do for your plants. Water them. In Arizona, during the summer, it is, let me rephrase that. In Mesa, Phoenix, that area, even maybe Tucson, it is impossible. Well, let me not say impossible, but it's almost impossible to overwater your fruit trees unless you're turning the hose on and leaving it run all day, every day for like a month at a time. Because it's so hot, these trees are transpiring so much. I have learned, actually, that the more water, the better. This passion fruit vine right here, I planted it October of 23. It grew real well. And then in July of last year, a bunch of it died back. It's because I wasn't giving it enough water. This year, I'm giving it plenty of water, and it's probably 60, 70 feet long. So water your trees, guys. Don't worry about the water bill. It's not that much. If you can't afford your water bill, then maybe only have one tree, or mulch really well so you don't have to water as much. Last thing about bananas. These really, really tall varieties. I think another one like ice cream is manzana or apple. When they flower and fruit, these racks can get very heavy. Okay, so you want to protect them. Okay, so I've just got 2 sticks tied here, and that's protecting this guy so he's not going to fall over. That's what happened over here. Is this one, I was like, oh, there's not that many on there, I don't need to protect it. Well, he leaned all the way over. We could actually see where he bent a little bit right there, right in that region. Another thing I just remembered. You're gonna say, Bob, they're planted really close to your house. Even my mom said that. Not worried about it. The roots are not invasive. Even if they were invasive in the tropics, we don't have tropical weather here. We don't have the humidity. We don't get the rain. So there is no way that those roots are gonna lift up my house or damage. The only thing I might think about is that guy right there. When he gets taller, try not to have him go into my roof. But again, these are non-invasive. Another thing I just realized, you see all these cuts? That's from wind. Doesn't matter. That's gonna happen. Some that get shaded from the wind, they don't have an issue with it. It's a cosmetic thing. I'm not worried about how they look. I'm worried about this right here. Well, that's the video for today, guys. I hope I covered everything. And I hope you learned something. And if you have something that you do that I don't do, as I say every day, or every time I do a video, let me know. Let me know down in the comments what you do differently. I'd love to hear from you. I enjoy doing these videos because they're helpful. These are the videos that I saw when I was learning how to do all this stuff. And if I can help one person, that's all that matters. Anyway, guys, from Chateau de Muff, I hope you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you next time.